Revenge of the Sith Anakin. For me, this is without a doubt S tier Anakin Skywalker.
I love episode 3 Anakin, but I was thinking of the children, and I was like, he's got to be C.
No, he's Vader by then. It is the last week before Andor discussion talks for essentially the next 2 months. So Ryan and I thought there would not be anything better to do than talk about the patron saints of Star Wars. We're going to be talking about the Skywalkers today, specifically tier ranking the Skywalkers. So Ryan, thanks again for hopping on. Kevin is on spring break, and Ryan is probably going to be more frequent on here, at least as frequent as he wants to be. So Thanks again for taking the time to hop on.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. So today, we haven't done a tier list on this podcast in a long time. It's probably been at least 5 or 6 months, if I had to guess. Someone can fact check me, but it's not that important. But we're going to tier rank all of the Skywalkers, but not just like, okay, here's Luke, here's Leia, here's Anakin, and so on. We're going to do like Luke from A New Hope, Luke from Empire, Anakin from The Phantom Menace. We're going to go that route. So it's going to be like 18 or so iterations of the Skywalkers. So I think that will be a lot of fun. Our ground rules, I don't know that Ryan and I agree on everything Star Wars related. Odds are we don't, because it's a huge intellectual property. So where we have any difference on ranking, we're going to try to split the difference on it. So if someone's an S and someone's a B, we may go A to split the difference on that. So kind of the idea there. Should be pretty fun to do this, because it's always fun to reminisce on some of our favorite characters. So I've got this thing teed up for us. So we've got this list going from Shmi, and maybe causing some outrage, going all the way to Rey Skywalker. So it'll be fun to get there. We'll have Rey be the main event. So if you don't want to hear about that, I don't necessarily say I blame you, because sometimes it can get into an ugly conversation. It will not here, but you can just quit after Ben Solo. We'll pretty much be there. But Ryan, let's go ahead and let's start with Shmi Skywalker. I mean, she's the matriarch of this family. We don't get a whole lot of her on screen though.
Yeah.
So I always kind of forget that we see her for a few minutes in Attack of the Clones, because I mean it is so brief and kind of overshadowed by a lot of stuff. But that's a pivotal Star Wars moment there when she passes.
For sure, that kicks it off for Anakin.
It's the domino, right, that gets things going. But I will say about Shmi, I don't know about you. I mean, single mom, rough world. She's a slave. Really harsh situation that she's in. Raises a good kid. It's not her fault that he turns out to be Darth Vader. So I don't have anything negative to say about Shmi. I love all of her interactions with Qui-Gon. I don't know about you.
Yeah, they're great. I really do love them. I wish we had more of her, but
she brings a lot of wisdom to the table as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she will kind of put the because Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, they show up kind of with their Republic mindset of things, but they're on the outer rim, and she has to give them a lot of reality checks in The Phantom Menace. And not a lot of just regular people give Jedi reality checks. So I think that's super cool. I don't know that she's S tier though. That's kind of what I'm. I don't know.
I was gonna say S.
Do you think she's high S? Like, is she one of your top, or is she one of your mid S tiers?
I mean, for Skywalkers, I would say high, because she started it off. She kicked the whole thing off for the Skywalkers.
I had her at A, so we'll go S. If we're gonna split the difference on someone on this list, I think we round up on Shmi.
Okay.
Hardworking single mom cannot go against it.
For sure.
Cannot go against it. So next, our Phantom Menace Skywalker appearance. I guess technically we run into Anakin first, but we started off with the matriarch. So now we've got little Annie. Ryan, what do you think about little Annie?
I like little Annie. I from the first time I saw it, I was like, man, he is great. Like, just a Phantom Menace. I'm like, how does he go from this nice little kid who wants to help everybody to Darth Vader? the ultimate
Yeah.
evil. I was like,
Yeah.
but he's a nice kid. You can't
Yeah.
help but like him.
Yeah, that's really true. Like he's got such a pure heart too, right? Like
Yeah.
he just sees the good in things and he has so much hope in things and it's kind of sad that the Jedi ruin him.
Yeah, it is a bummer, and I like what we see in the movie. I'm glad like Lucas just kept it to where, I mean, other than giving Yoda a dirty look at the
Yeah.
council, other than
Yeah.
that, he's just a
Yeah.
nice kid the whole movie. And there was
Mhm.
you've probably seen it, but there's a deleted scene of him fighting little Greedo after the race.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm glad they took it out because I wanted to see just a pure heart,
Mhm.
little Anakin that wants to help everybody in the first movie
Yeah.
because it goes downhill after that.
Really quickly, right?
Yeah.
As soon as halfway through episode 2, he's you know what's coming, right? So
hmm
so here's the thing. Have you dove much into like the comics or anything? The Vader comics?
I've read a few of them. I have like the
Yeah.
first two, but it's been a while
Okay.
since I read them.
So lately, I say the ones that either came out last summer or maybe the winter before that. You get, which it happens here and there, but he's dealing a lot with like Padme's handmaidens and things like that.
hmm
And in one instance, he ends up on some planet, and his friend from Tatooine is like in the story. I forget the boy's name, not
Oh, you're
not
talking about
not the Rhodian, but
no,
the
you're
other
talking about
boy.
Kitster.
Kitster, yeah. So I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure it's Kitster that's in this comic, and Anakin has like
yeah.
a lot of flashbacks to being little Anakin, and so you kind of get into his head there, and it makes me
hmm
like him more than Phantom Menace little Annie because
Oh,
I'm not necessarily crazy about Phantom Menace Anakin, mainly because I think the lines they wrote were just not didn't do the actor any favor, but I also don't hate Phantom Menace little Annie. I see him as far as rating against the other Skywalkers, he's
mhm.
probably a B for me.
Okay. So since you mentioned the comic, are we doing anything in Little Anakin or just Phantom Menace, Little Anakin, like the
Oh,
movie?
that's a good point. Let's say just the movie,
Just a
because
movie.
if we
Oh,
start
okay.
getting into all aspects of canon, that
hmm
could add a lot to it. So yeah, take back what I said. He's hands down B tier for me.
Okay, 'cause I was gonna say because of the novelization of Phantom Menace, he gets a different introduction.
Oh really?
Yeah, his introduction starts 6 months before the events of the Phantom
Oh,
Menace. It's really cool. I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, in the novelization, he yeah, I don't want to spoil it just in case you want to read it, but it's cool. He gets a cool introduction. But yeah, if it's just movie,
I'm gonna have
then
to look it up.
um I don't know. I really like every character. I'm going
Okay,
A,
you
but
doing
we
A?
we can do B if just to be
Okay,
fair for the
okay.
rankings.
We can do that. So let's throw him in B for now.
hmm
And I want to try to be like I guess we should say this too. Let's say as far as Skywalkers go, like if someone ends up like B, C, D, whatever, like
hmm
this is like a subset tier within a high tier anyways,
Mm,
right? Like because we're
yeah.
just talking these same characters, they're already in like a very high list too. So like audience, if we put someone lower than you think and it's like, oh, that's an outrage, I would have some random Jedi higher than that, we would
Yeah.
have them higher than the random Jedi, but we're looking
Yeah.
specifically at the Skywalker. So that does make this challenging as well.
It is because it's man, yeah, this is quite the list.
This is like the all stars of Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's the whole family.
So next up, we get Attack of the Clones Anakin. Are you an Attack of the Clones fan?
I I am. I love Attack
Okay.
of the Clones.
I like it too. It's not my favorite Star
Uh-huh.
Wars movie by far, but it's the first one I saw in theaters.
Okay.
So
So do you have
special.
like a nostalgic attachment to it or do you still have a
Yeah,
critical eye to it at times?
probably more so nostalgic. Like I
hmm
just bought I just bought a print and got it autographed by the artist Candace Daly. It's like an Anakin in the Geonosian arena from Attack of the
Oh.
Clones. And by far Attack of the Clones, it's probably like 6th or 7th on my list of Star
Uh-huh.
Wars movies. I still like them all,
Yeah.
but like there's just something special about it. So Anakin with those two
Yeah.
sabers, especially Anakin with the green saber,
Yes.
I like it a lot, but
hmm
I don't know. What do you think?
Um it's kind of hard because he's I mean it's the middle movie obviously, so he's a combination of little Anakin and
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith Anakin, and it's hard because it's interesting. I'm kind of torn because I like this Anakin, but I'm also thinking of people's criticisms of
The
him.
lines are brutal.
Yeah, especially like um the apartment scene,
Yeah,
he
at the very
creeps
beginning.
Padme out,
Yep,
and she puts him in his place, which
yep.
I'm glad. But yeah, so it's like, I mean, I see both sides of things. I'm glad
Yeah,
Padme stood up for herself. I understand Anakin's an awkward guy who isn't
right.
around. Well, it's the only
It's probably
woman
like the
he's ever
first
loved.
girl he had ever met, right?
Yeah, and
Like,
he only thinks about her, so he probably never
yeah,
tried getting to know other girls since then. But
yep,
I don't know. It's difficult. I'm trying to think of people's criticisms and how I just love this movie a lot. What are you
right.
thinking?
To me, he is. So here's the thing: as far as like the cool factor, like with
Hmm.
the two sabers fighting
Yeah.
Dooku in the arena,
Yes.
going to get Obi-Wan, like going after the Tusken Raiders, stuff like that. The cool factor, he's up there. But
Yeah.
in every other sense of writing a character, he's way down there. So to me,
Ah.
like he's got S tier features, and he also has like D features at the same
Uh,
time. So I would also land him
hmm.
like probably B tier, C to B is where I would have him land.
I'm okay with B.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll meet there on it. I mean, I think I like him better than Little Annie. I don't know. What do you like Little Annie better?
Um,
I don't care one way or the other.
as far as niceness, I like little Anakin better. I mean,
Okay,
he races the pod just so much, but
he's less of a punk.
yeah, he's just like I said, just big heart.
Yeah. Yeah, this episode 2 Anakin, he's like got all the hormones plus the poorly written lines, kind of whiny. He's got that Skywalker whiny thing down perfectly by
Had to
episode
have it,
2.
yeah,
Yeah.
for
it's
sure.
it's it's a trademark of the Skywalkers. So,
Yeah,
next up I could have easily I guess had Padme in between little Annie and this Anakin, but she doesn't become a Skywalker until episode 2.
yeah.
So I threw in Padme here, and this is pregnant Padme picture.
Hmm.
So this is 3 Skywalkers in this one picture here. But
It is.
Padme, and I'll go ahead and tell you, I have nothing bad to say about Padme Amidala. I have
No,
zero complaints whatsoever.
same. She's S for me because she's a
Yep.
boss and she carried the twins of evil
Yeah.
warlord of the universe. I don't know what you want to say,
Yeah.
but yeah, she was just a boss every episode.
Yep.
And I know some people felt like she didn't do much in episode 3, but I mean, she's carrying babies and trying to hide it, but while
She
still
does
doing
though.
big
Yeah.
things.
No,
So
I
she's
think she
great.
does plenty in episode 3 as far as
Yeah.
like what they could have done. I mean, they had a
Mhm.
lot of story to tell in a little over 2 hours. So,
Yeah, yeah, to tie it all up.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
S.
And I mean, you talk about Attack of the Clones, Padme, like, man, she's bad.
Yes.
She's climbing up that thing in the arena and hitting
Hmm.
that cat with it, and she's putting Anakin in his place really all throughout the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning, she's doing it, and then when Obi-Wan sends that call for help, and Anakin's like, "No, I can't go," he's actually going to follow the rules, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Well, you're following me, and I'm going to get Obi-Wan." So she
Yeah.
takes charge there. Like you see so much of her and Leia, like the same
Yeah.
character there. George wrote it so well.
He did. I love that about her. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, and so I think as far as S tier goes, I would have Padme above Shmi. Do you disagree there?
No, I like it. Yeah.
Okay.
She's definitely number 1 on the S tier.
Yeah, I don't honestly. I mean, Star Wars fans are nuts. Like we're the best of fans and we're the worst of fans.
Yeah.
And have you heard anything bad, like legit, like reputably bad about Padme from anyone?
No. Mm-mm.
I
Everybody loves
can't think of
Padme.
anything either. Like you think of your most critical Star Wars fans, you think of your most sunshine pumping Star Wars fans. They all love Padme,
Yeah.
as it should be.
Right. I agree.
If the one person watching has an issue with Padme, please explain it in the chat. I would love to know what the argument is
Meet
for
us in the
that.
chat.
Yeah, for sure. So next we go to Clone Wars Anakin. So we've got the Matt Lanter version. Really, this is probably the most Anakin we have,
Yeah.
right?
I would say S just because he gets fleshed out
Yeah.
so much. Then with his, because I mean, I know it's just a trilogy and you have to tell so much story in just 3 movies, so it kind of feels unfair to movie Anakin, but
Mhm.
his story is just so fleshed out in Clone Wars, and I would say S personally. I don't know about you though.
I would be between S and A for Clone Wars Anakin,
Mhm.
so I'll give you the shot on this one. What do you want? You want S or A on him?
Um,
I'll go wherever you want to go.
I'll go S.
All right, we'll go S here. Above or behind Shmi?
I'm fine with him at 3, but it's up to you.
Okay,
Whatever
that's
works.
fine with me. That's good with
Okay.
me. I think Clone Wars Anakin's great. There's a lot there. Now I will say I've probably only seen like I did the big Clone Wars where they caught you up for season 7, so I've probably only seen like 30 or 40 episodes. Of what I've seen, I like Clone Wars Anakin. I've been to a Matt Lanter panel where he kind of talks about getting in the mind of Clone Wars Anakin. I'm sold on it. Clone Wars fans are passionate too, and I don't want to make them mad. So I'm gonna go S on that. And Matt Lanter, I think local Floridian as well. I think he's an Orlando native. So
okay. So is Ashley.
I think he is. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just Ahsoka that lives in Orlando.
Okay.
but I could be way wrong. So someone could fact check me there. Now,
let us know.
Revenge of the Sith Anakin. For me, this is without a doubt S tier Anakin Skywalker. Revenge of the Sith.
Oh man, I love.
What do you think?
I love Episode 3 Anakin, but I was thinking of the children, and I was like, he's got to be C.
No, he's Vader by then.
True. Okay, so we're talking first half Anakin.
Yeah, I'm talking up until Mace Windu pushes him over the edge.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then gets pushed over the edge.
Okay, I would say yes. for sure. He's very heroic.
So heroic at the very beginning when he's coming in the Starfighter. Oh, I can't wait to see that in theaters again.
Yeah,
just that opening scene over Coruscant. He takes out Dooku. So good. And I mean, I also still count like Anakin versus Obi-Wan on Mustafar. Like, it's so cool to watch that.
Oh, that's gonna be crazy in theaters. Did you see tickets go on sale April 14th?
I did. So I've got to figure out where I'm watching it and then what version I'm watching of it. So like, am I going to do the Rumble seating? Is it going to be just the big screen? Is it going to be the normal one? I would like to watch it on like the big like stadium type experience. That's what I would like to do. So once I figure out which theater, I will be getting tickets very quickly.
Same. It's going to be quick. Sorry, I won't trail us off.
No, you're good. I'm going to say top of S tier for Anakin. Him and Padme like one in the same spot, essentially.
Yeah, okay.
This is how they are lined up on the thumbnail, so I'll leave them right there.
Yeah.
Now, we're essentially going, we'll still have Anakin technically a couple times later on, but now we're getting into the age of rebellion here, and we have got little Leia from Kenobi. What do you think?
I like her character a lot. She's great. I mean, she's a mini Carrie Fisher in this show.
She is,
which is great. And
I don't think the writing did her favors either. But I do really like the character.
Yeah, I would say A.
That's where I was kind of landing. Yeah. And once we have some other A tiers, I will probably have some other A's ahead of her. But you hit it just right on with she's a mini Carrie Fisher. Yeah. Maybe there's stuff out there on it and I just haven't seen it, but like I would love to see how the casting went, how many people they actually had audition, because I would imagine the minute she auditioned, it was pretty clear who it was going to be.
Yeah, she did her homework.
For sure. And they dress her up in all of like they do little Easter eggs to grown up Leia, right? Like how she's dressed up. They do so good. She's super sassy. She's super smart. I like it a lot. It does frustrate me when she's running away from like the goons trying to kidnap her, because it's like they're like Home Alone level incompetent guys. Like just can't get her, and she's like ducking under a thing,
sliding.
Yeah, I think the volume, like filming in the volume, didn't do that scene any justice because they were like so enclosed.
Yeah.
But as far as the character goes, I think she's great. I would easily have her above the two Anakins that are in B tier. I think she's kind of steals the show in Kenobi.
Absolutely, she really does. She's great. Yeah.
So next, let's stay on the Leia wagon. We've got A New Hope Leia.
Yes.
I was gonna say this is like as easy as can be. I've got her above Anakin S tier as far as ranking.
I would say so. Yeah. From the second you see her talking to Darth Vader, she just owns it all.
Yes, and as far as A New Hope goes, like I love A New Hope. The more I
Same.
watch it, the more I like it. Rogue One made me like it even more. Like before, I used to be like, oh, I want to watch Empire: Return of the Jedi.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I love them all, and
Yeah.
I could throw on A New Hope and be just as happy as the other two. So when you look at A New Hope, though, I we'll get to Luke in just a second, but I don't particularly think Luke Skywalker in A New Hope is a very strong character, but I think Princess Leia is like it. It could be as good of a Leia as you have in the whole trilogy. I think she's
Yeah.
awesome in A New Hope.
Same. Yeah. Just from the start, she is just like Padme. She's a boss
Yep,
the whole
she
time.
captures the heart of the rebellion. Like Luke is
Yes.
not the heart of the rebellion at all.
No,
Like
he's got a.
it's all Leia.
He has a ways to go.
Yep. One of my dogs, she's not in here with me right now, is named Leia after this specific
Oh.
version of
Oh,
Leia. So
really?
like I'm a big fan.
That's
I
cool.
think it's as good of a character as you're gonna find in Star Wars. So let's go A New Hope, Luke. This is my least favorite. Well, actually, I take that back. It's my second least favorite, Luke. Hands down. Now, this is again a Skywalker ranking, so that's not to say much, but to me, he's kind of whiny in this one. I know he's written to be that way. Like it's like that coming of age. Like, oh man, I just want to go do cool stuff with my friends and things like that.
Yeah.
So he's kind of written to be that way.
Yeah.
But he's like such a whiny character in A New Hope to me personally. Not that I don't like him. It's just there's better Lukes out there.
Yeah, I mean, even Mark Hamill felt so. He's like, why is he whiny? But George Lucas already had the idea that he was going to have this arc.
Yep.
He's going to progress with each following movie. So I get that. I like whiny Luke.
You like whiny Luke?
But what are you thinking? Are you thinking like B or C?
I was thinking probably B.
I could go
like
with B.
Above. I would have him above Little Anakin and Episode 2 Anakin.
Oh, okay.
But I for sure have him above Episode 2 Anakin. I can listen to your arguments for below Little Anakin.
With Anakin, I mean, he's like already. I mean, he's 9 and he's already like wanting to help people. He enters that pod race. Like he's willing to put his life on the line to help everybody. But then at the same time, Luke does. It's kind of different because Anakin is like from the start. He's like, I got to help him. While Luke, he didn't want to go with Obi-Wan at first. He did.
I'm with you.
Obviously, but he eventually was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he just wants to, because in New Hope, he was like, I've got to get back to Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen's, right? So like he wasn't even going to go. That's a good point. He had to get ready for the harvest. So yeah, I can have little Annie ahead of A New Hope Luke.
But now I just thought of something.
Yeah?
He wanted to go back to his aunt and uncle, and then they're dead. So it's kind of like he was worried about, still helping them. Even though he wanted to leave, he was like, oh, I got to help them with the harvest. And then they're dead. So I'm like, I'm torn now. What do you think?
As far as what I enjoy watching more, I prefer watching A New Hope Luke over The Phantom Menace Anakin. Because I think his lines are written so much better in A New Hope than what George gave little Annie in The Phantom Menace.
You don't like Yippee?
Yippee, or is that what he says after he blows up the ship? He says yippee, or he woos really loud.
Yeah, I think he says woo or something. And then when Watto says he could leave after he cleans.
That's the yippee.
Yippee.
Yeah, you're right. That puts him below Luke.
The yippee. That did it.
The yippee. Or the let's try spinning. That's a good trick.
That's a good trick.
I do like the tie-in, though, where Kylo Ren goes spinning later on. Like, that's intentional or not, that's a great Easter egg.
Yeah, it is.
Such a good Easter egg.
I mean, like
so
George said,
next we got Vader. Now, Vader could have easily went into play in the prequels. We're taking Vader as a holistic look. I kind of contemplated putting Vader in because in Kenobi, where he's like, you didn't kill Anakin Skywalker, I did. So like there's a clear differentiation. But man, Vader never kicks Anakin. Like he never fully gets rid of it. So to me, it's hard to separate the two.
Yeah, for sure. So is this all Vader or just the original trilogy Vader or just Empire, since that's an Empire photo?
I didn't think there was. I mean, there is a lot of difference about Vader between A New Hope to Return of the Jedi, but
Yeah.
I went Vader as a whole because it would have been hard for us to keep up with which guy in a costume we were putting in each one. So let's just go Vader as a whole. So let's say the complexity of falling at the beginning in Episode 3 to redemption in A New Hope. That's a big arc. It's hard not to go S when you say it like that.
I was thinking S too because he's kind of like he has an interesting arc through the trilogy. Because I mean, he's on Tarkin's leash in A New Hope.
Yeah.
But then, other than the conversation with Palpatine, he's like the number one the whole movie. He's
the muscle,
force choking people the whole time, just getting rid of people that aren't working out. And then he's kind of back on the leash once Palpatine is around.
He goes back on the leash in 6. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's an interesting arc. He goes up and then down. I want to give him an S, but
I'm all on board with S. I would have him because again, you've got like a big picture. I would have him like up here with Leia somewhere. Like I wouldn't have him above or behind. Like I would have them on the same level, him and Leia.
Okay, I could do that.
Like him at 2. Like that's like this is the best of the best here.
Yeah.
So next we've got Empire Luke. Luke gets better in each movie. So Empire Luke, much less whiny, obviously, very conflicted. Still not in my opinion, the greatest version of Luke we get.
Impatient.
But yeah, he's got like all the Skywalker qualities though.
Yeah.
Like it's so good.
In this movie, yeah.
Yeah.
All of it.
I'm A on Empire Luke. I'm A. But if you want to be S on Empire Luke, I'm cool with that too.
It might be because I'm biased because it's my favorite. The Empire Strikes Back.
If it's your favorite movie, let's go.
But I kind of want to be fair to you.
No, listen, I would make a trade. I would put this Luke in S and I would move Clone Wars Anakin to A.
Oh.
I think this Luke is better than Clone Wars Anakin, mainly because of writing. You tell me where to put him.
I'm fine with S. S is good.
I would put him up here with this Anakin, like Padme Anakin, this level.
Yeah, that's good.
I love that we're doing a Skywalker ranking, and it's like we're just having to really try not to put everybody.
It's difficult. It's really difficult for me.
Trust me, I'm gonna have some that go below B at some point. I'm not gonna be ugly about it, but I just, you got some people that were a Skywalker for 8 seconds, so I mean it's hard to put them too high up on the list. But, Empire Leia, I think it's a good Leia. I don't know if it's my favorite Leia. I think A New Hope Leia is my favorite, but I don't have any issue with this Leia either.
I love Empire Leia too.
Yeah, is that your favorite movie all around?
Yeah. Okay. So it might be biased, so that's kind of why I feel bad.
Well,
I keep putting
Empire's
S tier.
My top 3.
Yeah.
It's my number 2.
Oh, okay.
It used to be my number 1, and I changed within the last couple years.
To what? Return of the Jedi?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
I watched Kevin and I watched Star Wars and we did 9 straight weeks. So we did 1 through 9, looking at it through the lens of just the Skywalker story. And to us, when we watched it that way, which I think Return's always been his favorite, but when I watched it in that lens, it was just the perfect movie. And so it dethroned Empire for me, mainly with the Vader arc is what got me.
And that was on the podcast, right?
Yeah, we talked about that probably like a year and a half ago or so.
I saw those, yeah.
Yeah. So this, where do you want Empire Leia on S?
Oh no.
Because when she's like coming into her own by the end of the movie, like I would say asteroid field forward, she's really like leading their group to Bespin.
Yeah, she is. She is the leader for sure. But she's also leading in A New Hope too. You know, once she gets that blaster,
That's true. Well, it's pretty much as soon as they blow up Alderaan, she's, as soon as they get her out, she's leading.
Yeah. I could go behind A New Hope Leia, unless you had a better spot.
Yeah, no, I'll put her in with this group here.
Okay. that works.
So this group of S's to me, like really to Anakin here. I mean, Padme, like I got nothing bad to say about her, but also like it's hard just the limited screen time, you know, like as a Skywalker. To me, it's hard to have her in that Leia Vader group there. But for sure, this 3 is like my top 3, kind of leaning into this Anakin here too, because he is my favorite Star Wars character. But Anakin's my favorite Star Wars character as a whole. Not like one specific Anakin is not, but the character of Anakin as a whole up there for me. Return of the Jedi Luke, this is like best Luke Skywalker to ever happen to me. That's S tier. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking S tier. I'm thinking, even though I love Empire Luke, I would say by Anakin, Episode 3 Anakin.
Yeah, that's where I've got him as well. Like up here in this OG group.
Yeah.
We're about to have to like break this off and like move all the rest of them down to A and just like say like yes they're A but they're really S.
Yeah.
So
too heavy.
This Luke to me, this Luke Skywalker is like so good just as far as he's kind of figured it out, right? So in Empire he had a lot of learning to do. In Empire he was not a Jedi yet. He left his training too early. But Return of the Jedi, he goes into Jabba's palace, cool, calm, and collected. Things don't go his way, but he still just keeps working it out. He goes back to Dagobah because he's got training to finish. Yoda's like, no, you got to face Vader, and that's pretty much it. Goes to Endor. When he gets taken captive by Vader, he's like, I haven't given up on you. You know, you can still turn. And it's really sad when Vader says, no, it's too late. And Luke never gives up on him the whole time. Like, even when he beats Vader, he gets right up to the brink on the dark side and then just stops. Like, he throws down that saber, and that's what brings Vader back. And so I just think it's the picture, the perfect picture going from 4 to 6 on his full arc. It's done so well.
Yeah, even though I really like Empire Luke, I would say because he's just very calm the whole time in Jedi. You know, you could tell he's been doing some meditation, probably some yoga, working out. I don't know. He's just chill the whole time, which is great for a Jedi. You know, he doesn't let it all get to him until
that green saber. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. I'm glad they did that.
That deleted scene where he's making it before he goes in is really cool too.
That is, I love that.
I also think as far as acting goes, I think it's, as far as the original trilogy, I think it's Mark Hamill's best job. And I think it's probably just I think it's, like, I love Empire as well. I just think he was given the best hand dealt in Return of the Jedi. Like, it was kind of served up on a platter for him there.
Definitely, yeah. I would say, he's definitely the best there.
So Return of the Jedi Leia, she's super cool in the movie. I think she doesn't take a full-blown backseat to Luke and Vader's story in Return of the Jedi, but as far as like the first 2 movies go, I just feel like she's featured a little less. I don't know if you feel that way.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely, now that I think about it, she's not really leading.
She's heavily featured early.
Yeah.
And then the film takes a hard shift into Luke Vader. She kills Jabba. She does. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
She doesn't let him make it out.
No,
yeah. And then I guess at the end you've got the big reveal, that it's, Luke's her brother. And then like really when Vader figures out that he's got a daughter as well, that's what pushes Luke over the edge to beat Vader too. He's like, sister. The way he says it.
Sister.
So
and then
good.
He talks about turning her.
Yeah. I would still have her below the other 2 Leias.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
I would have her, is this Leia, like, this Leia to me is either A tier or like above Shmi, probably, as far as where Leia's rank. I would put her right around there.
I would put her behind Shmi because Shmi is still the number 1.
The matriarch.
Yeah.
She's earned her respect on this tier list.
Definitely, yeah. She has.
All right. So we
got
Luke.
Mandoverse.
Mandoverse Luke. This Luke's cool.
Yeah.
This Luke kind of Star Wars was in not a rocky place because the Mandalorian was just kicking butt and taking
Yeah.
names as far as viewers goes, but
Mhm.
Star Wars was not without drama during that time. And
No.
this version of Luke kind of circled the wagons for the fan base.
Mhm.
At the same time, he's probably got like 14 minutes of screen time between
Oh,
between the
yeah.
Mandalorian and Book of Boba
Oh,
Fett,
yeah.
maybe even less. So I have a hard time putting this Luke in S tier just
Mhm.
because there's such a limited view of him.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely more screen time than I thought because I did not even think he was gonna appear. I never
That's
considered it.
it's more than zero.
Yeah.
Um,
Um.
man, when he shows up in that Mandalorian episode, I mean, that not to go too far tangent, but
Yeah.
that's such an awesome scene. He just, makes his way through that ship. That Book of Boba Fett Luke's super cool because
Mhm.
it's more of the Master Luke type of thing and
Yeah.
training Grogu, but it's also like it was so out of place where that episode happened. Like it kind of stole the whole spotlight from Boba Fett. I still think it's an awesome episode.
Yeah.
I don't know why it happened in that series.
I guess it's because, like, I guess people were kind of bummed out that Grogu and Din
Yeah.
went their separate ways, and they're like, "Whoa, maybe Disney was telling Lucasfilm, that's our cash cow. We need him
Yeah, no,
back. We need to
that
bring him
is
back."
true. Yeah,
They can't
bring Luke back.
separate. I was
I
sad.
would, I would have this Luke below a New Hope Luke for sure. Just based on there's not a lot of fleshing out there. It's just almost kind of like they threw him in for shock and awe, even though it is cool. There's not a ton of character development going on with this Luke. He just is.
I would put him behind Episode 2 Anakin, honestly, but it's up
Okay,
to you.
that's fine with me. No, he's at least he's B tier somewhere,
Mhm.
so that's fine with me. He's almost like just a cameo, right? That's all it is.
Yeah.
Is he comes in for a minute and he's gone. So as far as telling a big story, this is just kind of a payoff of all of these Lukes that we already know.
Yeah, it was cool. I enjoyed it
Not,
overall.
I love it, but again, I mean, when you're ranking character as a whole, there's
Mhm.
not a ton there.
Yeah.
Now this is where I'm going to be a hypocrite, though. We've got World Between Worlds Ahsoka version of Anakin. To me, maybe I'm not being a hypocrite. This Anakin gives us a lot of closure to Clone Wars prequel Anakin in that master apprentice relationship with Ahsoka. So I think there is a lot of character development that takes place in this 20 minutes or
Yeah.
whatever. We have this Anakin.
I would say so. Are you thinking S?
I mean, I was thinking probably A, just because. I mean, the focus is more on Ahsoka than Anakin. This is more so Anakin passing the torch, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like finishing the training and going on. But at the same time, this is the Anakin that has fully mastered the Force as well.
Yeah.
Like this is chosen one world between worlds. I think we're going to get so much more of this Anakin going forward.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What are you thinking?
Yeah, that's a good point that you make, though. The more we get of this version of Anakin, he might, be S. But I was thinking, yeah, probably A, because if you take away the nostalgia factor, I would say A.
I would have him again because he's kind of the completion of all these Anakins.
Yeah.
So without all of these, this one isn't as cool. I would put him ahead of the young Leia probably. I don't know. It's hard to do it though because she had a full season feature.
Yeah.
Like maybe there.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. But until you mentioned he's like the completion of them all, then I'm like, oh no, he's S. But no, I'm cool with A.
He could technically be like here, right? Because it is the completion of that story.
Right.
But just specifically in this instance, he's super cool, but he's kind of serving in the support role to push Ahsoka along. Because it was, I mean, it's her show.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, and again, if we're ranking where's Anakin? Anakin's an S tier character. Leia's an S tier character. Luke is S tier, right? Like these are just iterations of these characters. So again, don't say we're hating on the Skywalkers.
We love them all.
We love all of them. Almost everybody on this list would be S tier for me, just as is. A few would be A and B. So we have sequel trilogy Leia. I like sequel trilogy Leia.
Me too. She's still a boss.
She is. I think so. I don't love the sequels. I don't know what your opinions on the sequels are. I'm not gonna like be a toxic fan over the sequels. I'm not like I'm an adult. I can live with a movie I don't enjoy. But I think there were some missteps on a lot of characters. I don't think Leia's one of those.
I personally love the sequel trilogy. It doesn't bother me, and I liked it even when she flew through space. I mean, just because I know a lot of people are like, you can't do that with the Force, but the way I see it, every movie has introduced one or two new Force powers. So who's to say that she can't do that, or anyone that has the Force can't do that? So it didn't bother me. I thought it was cool, but I know a lot of people are calling it like Mary Poppins Leia or something.
I love that they call it that, by the way, because that is what it looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't enjoy that scene, but like also there's explosions in space, which would like if there's an explosion in space in Star Wars, that would mean it has to be some kind of oxygen there, right? Like you make that decision that their space is not the same as our space, right? And so who's to say she can't make a literal force field and pull herself in, right? Like she's a Skywalker. Why couldn't she? But I mean, even with that, like, even though I'm not crazy about that, just the way, like, especially in The Last Jedi, I'm not crazy about The Last Jedi, but her story in The Last Jedi, kind of like what we said about this Anakin here, is kind of the culmination of all of the other Anakins built up. This is her, like, taking the original trilogy Leia and everything she's learned in that, and now she's leading this new rebellion that seems to once again have no hope, right? So it's like the culmination of her character happening all at once here. Especially when they're on crate too at the very end, and she's like sending out the call to help and all that, and that's really good. I have a hard time putting her ahead of any of the original trilogy Leias though.
Same. I really like her in The Last Jedi. Like you said, she's great. But yeah, I guess I don't know. I
would put her A tier.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
I would put her like ahead of animated Anakin.
Yeah. Yeah, I would too. Because she's still Leia.
She's still Leia. And we're talking all of sequel trilogy Leia. I didn't want to put like each individual movie because in episode 7, that's really Han's movie. Like she's not heavily featured. And then she had 9 is what it is. Like they pieced together what they had of her clip. So I didn't think that was fair either to that character because it was just reused clips. So I think an A tier is really good. Like you can hate the sequel trilogy if you want to hate it, but I don't think there are many legit complaints about Leia that are actual. Like I could go along with that. Her character stayed pretty true to character in the sequels.
Yeah, I've never seen any complaints either. So.
Other than the Mary Poppins scene. That's all. That's the main one I've seen. And that's not even a Leia complaint. That's just like a Force complaint, as if any of us know what that is.
You can't do that.
All right. Sequel trilogy Luke. So really, I mean, this technically would include the 8 seconds in The Force Awakens plus where he stares intently. And then, of course, The Last Jedi. And then also the Rise of Skywalker, which is, I mean, a handful of minutes on screen. So really, you're kind of looking at The Last Jedi Luke.
Right.
So I know you like the sequels. I don't love them, but I also I like all Star Wars for the most part. I have a lot of bad things to say about Rise of Skywalker, but I won't say those things though. But I think this Luke, like, it's an interesting character. It's not what we expected, but it's interesting for sure.
I honestly, the portrayal of Luke in Last Jedi and just the sequel trilogy, I didn't have a problem with it. I liked it. I was very understanding of it because I mean, they say people change every 5 years. This was 30 years.
He changed 6 times.
Yeah, exactly. And he, the expression, the weight of the world. He had the galaxy, the weight of the galaxy on his shoulders. So it's like every planet, every moon, every all the star systems.
Yeah,
he probably was like, like really freaked out. Like, I'm the savior. I have to make sure everybody's safe. I have to make sure there's no evil. And I mean, I don't.
Yeah, he failed.
Yeah, he failed. So I mean,
that's a big deal.
I wish we could get really in his head. Really why he wanted to kill Kylo. So yeah, that was an interesting thing. But overall, yeah, I can definitely understand him going to exile. He's just feeling like a big letdown to the galaxy, not just a
Yeah,
planet or a
yeah,
country. So I can definitely empathize with how he was feeling. So I didn't have a problem with him. So what are you
yeah.
thinking?
So here's my issue with my only issue with him, really. The exile thing is, I don't have a problem with
Hmm.
that. Like, especially when you kind of take like the trauma side of it, like what you
Yeah.
said. My only issue with that character was the whole flashback with Kylo Ren deal, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
I don't think he would get to me in my head. Luke wouldn't get to the point where he's like, okay, he stood toe to toe with Vader and still saw good in him, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden it's like my whiny nephew is somehow like I've got to kill him in his sleep. So to me, like I have an issue with that. But
Hmm.
as far as the rest of the character, like going into exile, dealing with that failure, that checks out, right? Like
Hmm.
that's a big deal. And then I love how he comes back. Like the whole thing, what he says, and it builds it up early, where he's like, "You expect me to go stand down the First Order with a laser sword? Like
Yeah.
this war's a lot bigger than you think it is." And then to stall and save the Resistance, he goes and stands down the First Order with a laser sword. Like how?
Yeah.
I mean, he does it physically, so that's pretty
Right.
cool. So
It
I think
is.
Mark Hamill does a bang up job in this movie as
He
far as
does.
portraying, and it's a character he really disagreed with. He did
Hmm.
not care for this version of Luke, and his opinion matters, I suppose. And he still did a really really good job with it.
Yeah.
Um, I have this Luke. I still like sequel Leia better than sequel Luke. I just think the sequels really made Leia look really good.
Yeah. Um, I really loved when he force projected.
That is a really cool thing.
Yeah.
I just think she got so much more story told about her in the sequels versus
Hmm.
Luke. Luke like passed down stuff once, and Leia like in each film is making big impacts. So to me, that's
True.
where like in 7 she brings Han back in. In
Right.
8 she pushes Poe Dameron. He figures out what it means to lead, and then in 9 obviously it's Rey. So to
And
me,
Kylo,
and Ben Solo,
she brings
Kylo,
him
yes,
back to Ben.
yep. So I
Yeah.
mean, she is hands down, I think, more consequential than Luke in
Yeah.
the sequels.
Yeah. So I guess I would say Luke is S tier, but at the very end. Or what are you
Oh, so
thinking? What are you thinking?
you have him ahead of this Leia.
Oh no, no, no. Sorry, sorry. I forgot. Yeah, she's there. So
I put her low. You want to put him with her there?
what were you thinking?
I was thinking this Luke is A tier,
Okay. Yeah, I'm cool with that. Right there. That
and I
spot.
like him better. I like this Anakin better, but again, it's just like very much
Hmm.
like it's such a quick scene, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot there for Luke. So for these two, this is probably where I'm going to go lowest. As far as potential goes, I think Ben Solo could be an S tier character.
Yeah.
The whole Ben Solo Kylo Ren. I just think we only have 1 year of evidence on him,
Yeah.
and really only like a little bit as Ben Solo. To me, he's probably like B tier. He's my favorite sequel trilogy character.
Yeah.
But I think there was a lot of missed focus in the sequel trilogy as far as like what could have been built up. I don't know.
For
That's just me
Ben,
though.
I'm fine with B. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's not much we could see
I would have
with
him
Ben.
behind this Luke, but you like this little Annie, so I could split him here if you wanted.
Sure. But
I think
Ben was cool.
I think as a whole, he's for sure better than Attack of the Clones Anakin. Like
Yeah.
from 7 to 9. He is the best well told arc in the sequels, in my
Yeah.
opinion. That Han Solo scene in Episode 9 is so cool, where like they have that
Yeah.
discussion on the Death Star. I
Yeah.
think
I
that's
love
really
that.
cool because like Han was there when the Death Star got destroyed twice, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden like that's where his son gets redeemed as well. That's a cool
Mhm.
picture.
It is.
That's a really cool picture.
I love it.
Amongst other things. So yeah. All right. The finale.
Oh
Um,
boy.
Rey Skywalker to me. I mean, I like the idea, like personally, like in what I believe in my life and things. Like, people can be redeemed.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's got issues,
Yeah.
and no one deserves redeeming, yet we have that opportunity to be redeemed, right? So,
Mhm.
you can be a Palpatine and choose to be a Skywalker. I do think that.
Mhm.
Um, to
Yeah.
me, I was not expecting that though. At the end of that movie,
No.
I thought I preferred Rey Nobody because she could be like, yeah, I'm Rey. I thought that was cool.
Right.
I really like Rey Nobody out of The Last Jedi, but this would be my only C tier. We get 7 seconds of Rey Skywalker.
Yeah. 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 It's kind of interesting because like the first two movies, she was nobody, you know, and then by the third
Yep.
one, she was a Palpatine. So yeah, it's kind of difficult. I'm
But if
fine with
you,
C. I like her as a character overall, but I'm fine
I
with
do
C.
too. My only issue with her, my issue is not with Rey. My
Hmm.
issue isn't with Daisy Ridley, anything like that. It's
Hmm.
just I thought they built up a really compelling story to where she finds herself and she is everything she needed, right? She didn't need to be a Palpatine or a Kenobi or a Skywalker or whatever it was. Like she had it in herself just to be what she needed. But I do get it where people are, it's cool that she chooses to identify with the good guys.
Yeah.
I thought it made her take a back seat in her story, in my opinion.
Uh,
Uh, I don't know. That's just the way I took it. I don't hate it in like where people are raging over like, oh, it's Rey Skywalker. That's stupid. And Disney's pushing this, that, and the other. I just thought it was weird that they like built all that up and then they're like, nah, we're going to actually say she's Rey Skywalker. But
yeah. I mean, it's because of the internet, unfortunately,
yeah,
the
yeah,
outcry, and they're like, we gotta do the opposite of everything that was
yeah.
done in The Last Jedi. They're like, we gotta
That,
reverse it all,
yeah.
unfortunately.
That's why Nine's my least favorite movie because like whether you like what happened or not, like you keep it going. Like you got a story, make it work. And
Yeah.
they couldn't. So to me, like it just seemed almost like it was kind of a thumb in the face to Ray Nobody when they did that.
Hmm.
So that's why I don't like that. But again, you can see our tier list here. These are, they're all high ranking characters. If we had just a tier list of all the characters, we would have a lot of these characters really high, and we would have a lot of other characters below them. But we had to flesh them out, right? Like
Yeah,
each iteration of all these characters. So I think this is a lot of fun. This is like a
it
good
was.
time killer in between this and Andor.
Yeah.
So, yeah, chat. Let us know what you think about this. Let us know where we over and under ranked people. We're very high on the Skywalker, so we probably.
Yeah.
I mean, Ryan has Skywalker in his username. So I mean, what do
Yeah.
we expect, right?
Yeah.
But let's go ahead, Ryan, plug your big stream you've got. So if people are watching this Saturday morning, you have a stream Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, 3 p.m. It's on YouTube. It's my first ever live stream. I'm gonna be streaming Jedi Fallen Order, and I definitely
Yeah,
plan on doing that and lots of other streams. So yeah, Skywalking Ryan on YouTube, Skywalking Ryan 182 on Instagram, and yeah, that's
yeah.
it.
So everyone, go check that out today at 3. I know I'm working this afternoon or at Saturday afternoon, but I plan on having that on as well. So definitely check that
Appreciate it.
out. Otherwise, guys, thank y'all for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
Good night.